What's mental, guys? My name is Alvin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching my content. I would like to urge you to subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video. If you are returning back to watch my videos and you're a subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in again, and may God bless you. Continue sharing this channel, continue subscribing, and continue liking and commenting on each and every video. I'd like to thank you for your support each and every time. You guys are literally the best. So our topic today is going to be on grief. We're going to be talking about the stages of grief. So on our topic today about stages of grief. Grief is universal, and at least everybody is going to experience it at some point in your lifetime. And that's a quote by Elizabeth Ross. Grief is also personal. It's not neat and it's not linear. It does not follow any timelines or any schedules. Like, it can happen abruptly when you least expect it to. And everybody grieves differently, but there are some common traits in the steps, or rather the stages of grief. Rather, the first stage is denial. You see, grief is an overwhelming emotion whereby at first a person usually denies and pretends that the loss or news and process the news. And this is a common defense mechanism that helps one numb the situation that you're currently in. However, as you move out of the denial stage, you'll be confronted with those emotions that you pushed aside, and it can be hard, or it can get difficult for you as the person who is grieving. The second stage is anger, whereby whereby we defined denial as a coping mechanism. Anger can also be classified or be stated as a masking effect, whereby anger is used by those who are grieving to hide many of the emotions and the pain that one carries. This anger may be redirected to other people, and your brain knows that they are not responsible for whatever situation you're currently in, but your emotions will be too high for you to think rationally at that point, or rather act according to that information that your brain knows. So you'll find, like, you'll be redirecting your anger to everybody. People who are coming maybe to help you, people are coming to check on you. You'll be like, what are they doing here? Do they think I need the help? Do they think I can't manage this? Do they think I'm weak? You'll be redirecting that anger to those that will be around you at that crucial moment. And in this stage of anger, one may get bitter and in this stage of anger, one may get bitter. However, we need to note that not everybody experiences this stage, or rather goes through this stage. Now, in this stage, as the anger begins to subside, you may begin to think more rationally about what's happening. You may begin to process the current situation you're in. You may stop directing your anger at people, and you'll be thinking in a more rational state about the current situation you are in and what to do about that current situation. The third stage is bargaining. In this stage, you may find yourself creating a lot of what if and if only questions. You'll be like, what if we had done this earlier? Maybe what if we had gone to the doctor soon? what if I was there with them? What if I helped? What if I could have done something more than what I did? You know, and it is very common, especially for the religious people, to also, go and try to make a deal with their superior being, whereby in return you expect your superior being to relieve you of the pain and the grief and be able to heal you from it. Because in this stage, a lot of emotions, in this stage, you're dealing with the grief itself, whereby you're feeling the loss of that person has really affected you. And yet, you're also trying to, like reverse the process, because you're like, what if I was there with them at that particular moment? Or what if I had done something more to help in that kind of situation? Maybe they'd still be here, maybe they'd still be well, maybe they'd still be with me, you know, those kind of questions, because you're beginning to accept that this thing has happened and it has led to you losing somebody close to you, because you'll be trying to alter the current reality that you are in by trying to think of what you could have done and what could have happened differently had you done something different than what you currently did, before. You'd be like, what if I'd noticed something was wrong? And questions like those, like you can't predict some of these things. Some of these things will hit you just out of the blue, like out of nowhere, and there is no way to predict. Like we stated earlier, grief doesn't have a timeline or a schedule. It can just come anytime, when you least expect it. Now, in this stage of bargaining, we need to understand that bargaining is a line of defense against emotions or grief. You know, those kind of feelings that you're feeling, you're trying to block them. You're trying to put up a wall between you and your emotions. And you're trying to, push aside the emotions that you're feeling, the grief, the anger, the sadness, you're trying to put it at bay, so that you can, try to find an alternate reality where you can be happy, you know, a reality that you can still be with the person you lost, a reality where the person you lost is still there with you, a reality in which the person you lost is at their best, they're happy, they're good, they're checking up on you. You can also go and check up on them if you could. It's just a way of not accepting the current reality that you are in, and rather wishing that something different had happened rather than the loss that occurred and led to you losing your loved one. We have already stated that bargaining is a line of defense against emotions or grief. It by it Bargaining also helps postpone the sadness, confusion, or hurt. During that period of grieving, a person is usually confused. Everything is happening at a fast rate. You don't know how to process everything. You're trying to, get a hold of the situation. You're just trying to juggle a lot of things. You're still trying to arrange, a decent send off for this loved one. And there's really not enough time to process this information, deal with it, and, come out of it in a manner that you have already accepted the situation. So you'll be postponing the sadness, the confusion, and the hurt that you will be feeling in your heart at this stage of bargaining. The next stage, which is usually the fourth stage, is the depression stage. Now, by this point, you may be able to embrace and work through your emotions in a healthy manner. By this point, reality has started sinking in that this person is no longer there. This person cannot be accessed like I used to access them. And at this point, you are starting to, to embrace each and every aspect of emotion that you're feeling. And you're working through your emotions in a healthy manner. Unlike in the anger stage where you used to redirect everything or rather redirect your anger to everybody around you or to objects, trying to put a blame of what happened to somebody or maybe an object. And also in the third stage, and also in the second stage, whereby you used to deny the kind of emotions that you're feeling and the situation that you are in and the current reality that you are in at that specific moment. So most people in this depression stage will choose to isolate themselves from other people so that they can be able to go, feel whatever they are feeling, feel the emotions, embrace the emotions, and work through them. You need to evaluate this current situation that I'm in, what is happening, and what do I need to do, you know, to heal from this hurt and heal from this pain. This is the step whereby you'll, you know, you'll take some time to yourself to fully cope with the loss, and try to dictate what that loss means to you. Now, as we all know, depression isn't easy and it can sometimes get messy. And it is not an easy stage. Sometimes it gets difficult for those affected by it, especially when it comes to grief and loss. Depression can become overwhelming to a person, and one can feel heavy and confused. These emotions that you're feeling at this point, can be so hard on you that you feel like you can't be able to process it. You're still confused trying to process the loss and the grief that you're going through. And at this point, you just feel like, you know, you are on the verge of giving up. You feel like it's all lost. You feel like there's no way out. But I'd like to encourage you that it would be best if you go and seek help from a mental health expert. Now, the fifth stage is acceptance. And acceptance is not necessarily a happy or uplifting stage in grief. It does not mean you've moved past the loss and grief. You can still be processing the grief and the loss, but you have come to terms with it and you have accepted that this happened and we need to move on with life. We need to go on with life. We need to carry on from where this person left. Life has to go on. This stage, however, means that you have accepted the loss and come to understand its meaning in your life. Where does it stand in my life at this current stage, or rather this current situation, and what can I do about it? How do I move on past there? How do I progress forward? These are some of the things you'll be thinking about at the acceptance stage. One can feel different in this stage, like your whole thinking mentality can be altered at this point because you'll be viewing everything at a different angle, rather a different objective than how you used to view things before this loss occurred to you or this grieving process began for you. Because this is a major change in your life that you did not expect to happen, but it came to your life, and now it will alter how you see things or rather look at things. I would like to urge all of us, especially those who are going through the process of grieving, that look to acceptance as a means to see that there may be more good than bad days. You know, just try to see the positive in every situation. Try to see the positive in this life. Try to see how you can make a difference. Maybe it's something you can help others prevent it. It would be good to take that initiative. And it's always good to be positive. However hard it may be, it's recommended that you try and see the positive things, or rather the positive outcome in every situation. And grief usually comes back in waves. Doesn't mean that since you've gone through the 5 stages of grief that it's finally over. You can be, it, even after a long time, some memories will still come back to you in flashes, and you'll remember this person, and sometimes you can just feel like, you miss them, and sometimes you can you just feel overwhelmed by the emotions, and that is okay, because grief is an ongoing process. Everybody grieves in their own different way, and everybody grieves, you know in their own time. Like, there's no fixed amount of time that you have to be done you have to be done with this process at a certain period of time. Take your time, take your space, feel all the emotions that you're feeling, and embrace them and work through them. Try to try to find the positive angle in that situation that you are in, and through that you'll be able to heal and move on with your life and progress forward. So that's going to be all for this week's video. I hope I have encouraged somebody who's going through this process, somebody who's feeling, like they are lost, like they are confused, like they are burdened with every emotions that they are feeling. I hope it gets better for you. I hope that if you feel you are overwhelmed by every emotions, it's always good to talk to a therapist or a mental health expert. So this week's shout out goes to Vintel. Thank you so much for viewing my videos, commenting, liking, and sharing my videos. I'm going to be seeing you guys. Thank you so much.